Good morning, my dear students. Uh, we'll study one more numerical year, that is from the design of next lab. So it is one request from my side is I will teach you the things here. However, I know that this could be taught in a classroom, but due to this pandemic, it is unavoidable conditions. It is very difficult for you people to come and study here. For this purpose, I have made convenient as much as possible to understand you people. Okay, the humble request from my side is to, however, I am going to give these notes to you people. You try it in your home. So while solving, if you found any difficulties, you can contact me and get it clarified. Okay, so in this video lecture, I will clarify about this problem everything in detail. Okay, so you should also just not by just watching this video, you will not going to get it done, because these are the numericals and these are the design numericals. They are lengthy and you will not going to remember that much. Okay, so if you have to be practice it. So I will go through this numerical here. We'll solve this problem through video lecture here, but it is compulsory to solve it by hand. Okay, we'll read out the problem statement here. The effective span of T-beam bridge, it is 18.33 meter. The effective span of T-beam bridge, it is how much? 18.33 meter. And the total length of the bridge, it is 55 meter. The length of the bridge, how much it is? 55 meters. Clear width of carriageway. Clear width of carriageway, it is 77.5 meters. Curve width, it is 600 mm. That is both side curve width is 600 mm, so that the pedestrians are allowed upon this curve. Parapet is of 1000 mm cross 150 mm plus 150 mm, means 1 meter is the height and 150 mm is the thickness. And these parapets are provided at 1.5 meter center to center with 3 cast iron frames as a railings. And a camber is provided, that is 1 in 100. 1 in 100 camber is provided. Why the camber is going to provide? For the purpose of draining out of the water. Okay, so it is at center, it is 37.5 mm and linearly reduces to 0 at the edges of curve. The curb height above the pavement, it is 200 mm. Curb type, full safety ensured. Total curb height above deck slab, it is 280 mm. Clear depth of longitudinal girders, it is 1400 mm. Clear depth of the longitudinal girders is 1400 mm. Same, the cross girder is also 1400 mm. Width of longitudinal girder 400, width of cross girder 300 mm. Deck slab thickness 250 mm. Cantilever slab is 400 mm at the girder face, linearly varying at 0.11 to ends. Total overall depth of the superstructure, it is 1800 mm. Center to center spacing of the longitudinal girders, that is 2500 mm. Between the longitudinal girders, it is a 2500 the center to center spacing, and between cross girders, it is 4507.5 mm. So that in between this is your slab panel is going to be there. So your slab panel size is 2.5 meter cross 4.507 meter. Grade of concrete M35, FCK, FCD design strength, it is 0.67, FCK divided by gamma m, and grade of steel Fe4 and 5. and Poisson's ratio it is 0.2, and analyze this deck slab by with the Pigot's curve. Analyze this deck slab by Pigot's curve. Okay. This slab is supported on 4 sides by the longitudinal girders as well as the cross girders. Our slab panel is of 2.5 meter width and 4.507 meter is the length of this panel size. Okay, so here we need to design the deck slab. They are in this problem they have mentioned everything, that is the sizes of the cross girder, center to center spacing between the cross girders, main girders, longitudinal girders, all these things they have given. They just need told us to analyze this deck slab, and already they have mentioned the deck slab thickness is 250 mm. We need to check whether the 250 mm is sufficient or not. Okay, and we need to analyze with the help of this Pigot's curve, right? It's the main concept. In the earlier problem what we studied, we are knowing the sizes, the span of the bridge. With the help of that we are going to design everything, that is cross girder, cross girder sizes and elements, longitudinal girder spacing, all those things we need to design. But in this they have given directly. The only thing is we need to analyze it. Okay, so this slab panel is size of 2.5 meter plus 4.507 meter size is there. Upon this various the different loading patterns will be there, that is IRC class A tracked vehicle, IRC class A wheeled vehicle, IRC class A train of vehicles, all those things, very different patterns of loading vehicles are there. These loading vehicles are going to be put on that, and we need to check we need to analyze, we need to check whether that 250 mm thickness is sufficient or not. Okay, so let us move with this now. Here this is our main concept. So here they have drawn one the slab panel here. This is width 2.5 meter and length it is 4.5075 meter. Here out of this different load of vehicles, the maximum load carrying is will be by the IRC class A tracked vehicle, that is at one wheel we are going to have 350 kilonewton of the load. At one wheel we are going to have 350 kilonewton of the load. This is the maximum one. Okay, so U and V, this is shaded portion is the area of contact of the one wheel of the tracked vehicle. So U is the width of the area of contact of the vehicle, V is the length of the area of contact of the vehicle. Now we need to find out the bending moment due to the dead load and bending moment due to the live load using the Pigot's curve. So bending moment due to the dead load means it is the dead load is the thickness of the deck slab, that is 250 mm they have mentioned, that is 0.25 into 1 into 1 into 25. This is the 25 is the density of the concrete. So weight of the slab is equal to 6.25 kilonewton per meter square. Then the wearing coat is there, that is 80 mm thick wearing coat is there. So that has been made with the mortar. Okay, that is 0.08 into 1 into 22. 22 is the density of the mortar. So it is 1.76 kilonewton per meter square. Weight of the camber, however we have provided the camber, it is 1 in 100, from center it is 37.5, reduces to 0 at the curve. Okay, so again what we have, this dead weight will be there on that deck slab, that also we have considered. So from that we are going to have 0.45 kilonewton per meter square of the load. So all together we will add it, we will get the total dead weight which is going to act on the deck slab, that is 8.46 kilonewton per meter square. Clear? So what the total dead weight from the one panel of the index lab. We know the Pigot's curve K equal to B by L. Here B is width, L is length. B equal to 2.5, L equal to 4.5. If you divide it, we will get K equal to 0.55. We will assume it that U by B ratio is equal to 1 and P by L ratio is equal to 1. So that K equal to will go to this Picard's curve now. What are the values we have? K equal to 0.5 we got, B by L and U by B and V by L, it is we are consider it as 1 correct, 1 we are considered. Here K equal to 0.5 is there, K equal to 0.6 is there, means in between the value of K equal to 0.5 means in between these values. So means first we will have to consider it is for K equal to 0.5 and we need to consider for K equal to 0.6. We need to calculate the values of M1 and whatever the value we are going to get. For that we will have to interpolate it for K equal to 0.55. Okay, so for K equal to 0.5, U by B equal to 1 and V by L equal to 1, what we have? 5, 6, 7. Okay, 5, 6, 7. Between 4 and 5 it is 4.99 you can consider, or else you can consider 5. And see for coefficient of M1, okay, this is coefficient of M1, this is coefficient of M2. It is again U by B ratio 1, V by ratio 1 here. It will be there here. It is 0.9. How much? See here, it is 0.9, this is 0.4. We'll go there. And for 0.6 it is same as like this, and for 0.6 it is 2, 3, 4. Okay, means it is between 1. Okay, so we'll go there and we'll interpolate it. See, using Picard's curve, K equal to 0.5, U by B 1, V by L 1, M1 equal to 0.04. So means it is less than 5. I told na, it is 0.47. So the value of M1 is multiplied with 100. So whenever we are going to consider the value for M1 in this problem, we should divide it by 100. There it is in between 4 and 5, correct. So they have taken 4.7 divided by 100, it is 0.047. Likewise M2 it is at 1 and 2, correct, between 1 and 2 it was there. So they have taken 1.6, so divided by 100 it is 0.016, right, 0.04, this is 0.16. So now we are having, this is for 0.5 K value, this is 0.6 K value, we are having M1, M2, M1, M2 values. We need to interpolate it, so that we will have to get it for K equal to 0.55. So we interpolated it, we got M1 equal to 0.47, M2 equal to 0.145. So we have having the formula. So now that formula is m1 into m1 plus m2 into power 1. Okay, we are having the formula. So total dead load on the slab is given by 8.46 kilonewton per meter square total load acting on it, and 2.5 and 4.7507 is the width and breadth of the slab. So collectively it is 95.33. How much it is? Here it is one Mr. So totally what we got? 95.33 kilonewton. How much load we got? Total dead load 95.33 kilonewton. How we got? Total dead weight is what? How much we got? 8.46 with these calculations, correct? We are going to multiply with this panel size. This is the uniformly distributed load which is going to act upon this panel. So we are just multiplied with the panel size, that is 2.5 and 4.507. We got the total a point load of 95.33. Okay, and to calculate the moments we are having the formula, that is load W into m1 plus m2 into alpha. Okay, so here 0.047 plus 0.2 into the 0.0145. How much we got? Short span moment mb equal to 4.76. Similarly, long span moment is equal to m1 plus it is in reverse order. It is okay. It is 0.47 m1 m2. What we got? m1 0.07, m2 0.145. It is m1 plus alpha into m2. Here it is m2 plus alpha into m1. So we got long span moment as 2.28. Since these are continuous slab, continued factor of 0.8 will be multiplied. So the final end moments will be multiply with the whatever the value you are going to get. You multiply with the 0.8, you will get mbf and mbf and mbl. mbf we got 3.81 kilonewton, mbl we got 1.81. This is long span, mbf is a short span. Now for the same thing we will have to calculate with the different type of loadings, different type of load of the vehicles. One is the IRC class A tracked vehicle. The wheel is placed at the center of the slab as shown in figure previously. For the maximum bending moment to be occurred, a load dispersion is taken to be occurring through veering coat only. The load is dispersed at 45 degree through the veering coat as per the NXP. Hence U equal to what? 85 into 2 into 0.080. How it is? It is 85 is the width of the what? See, width of the tracked vehicle, and the dispersion will be there through the veering coat, that is at an angle of 45 degree. So 0.8 the 80 mm here dispersion and 80 mm here dispersion. So the U is equal to what? It is 0.85 is the width of the wheel and 2 times the 2 into 0.080. This concept have shown in our manually solved problem. You can check in that. So your U equal to what? 1.01, and our V is equal to what? The length of this wheel is 3.6 meter. So our V is equal to what? 3.6 plus 2 into 0.080. So this is equals to 3.76. So U is equal to what? 1.01 meter, and P is equal to what? 3.76 meter. So we'll have to calculate the u by b and v by l ratio. Okay, u by b ratio here, u is how much? 1.01 meter, b is how much? 2.5 meter. So 1.01 divided by 2.5 will get 0.404, and v by l it is 0.8342, and v is how much? 3.76, l is 5, l is how much? 4 how much? 4.5075. So here v by l equal to how much? We got 0.8342. u by b equal to 0.404, v by l we got 0.8342. So our k is equal to what? b by l. K equal to b by l. b is 2.5, l is 4.5075. So our b by l ratio is equal to 0.55. So k equal to what? 0.55. Here you may ask, here u by l, u by b ratio, v by ratio we have noted down. Okay, but here in the dead load calculation we have taken u by b and v by l ratio as 1.5, because dead load, in this dead load moment, we are not going to check the for the vehicle, isn't it? Dead load on the deck slab, we don't have any load, only the plane surface will be there. We don't have any wheel upon that. So for that, v and l equal to same, width of the v and l are same, and u and b are same. So for that reason, v by l and u by b equal to 1. But in a livelihood conditions, this is your u and this is your b. So u by b ratio will be there, and this is your v and this is your l. So v by l ratio will also be there, because we are considering one tracked wheel here for the purpose of movement. Clear? Clear with this now? How it is? U equal to 0.85 plus 2 into 0.80. U is equal to the area of dispersion of the load. Width of dispersion of the load is equal to u. How you are going to get this width of dispersion of the load? That is the width of the tracked vehicle plus the load is distributed in a 45-degree angle. Okay, so the bearing coat is having a 80 mm thickness, so we are going to have this 80 mm thickness on one side, 80 mm thickness on the other side. So it is 0.85 plus 2 into 0.080, so that is equal to 1.01 meter. This is your u. Similarly, v is the length of that tracked wheel, so that is length is 3.6 meter, and dispersion it is 2 into 0.080. So our v is equal to what? 3.76 meters. Hence our u by b ratio, u is 1.01, b is 2.5, so u by b ratio is 0.404, and v by l ratio is 0.8342. To use Pigott curves, we need to have k value. The k value is b by l. B is what? 2.5 meter, and l is 4.5075 meters. So our k is equal to 0.55. So we need to now refer the Pigott's curve for k equal to 0.55. The Pigott's curve for k equal to 0.55 is not available. For k equal to 0.5 is available. For k equal to 0.6 is available. In between, k equal to 0.5 is there. So we need to check the value for k equal to 0.5. We need to check the value for k equal to 0.6. So interpolate it, the whatever the value we will get, that is for k equal to 0.5. 0.55. So for k equal to 0.5, u by b ratio is equal to 0.404 and v by l ratio is equal to 0.8342. We need to check the answers. So we'll go there. K equal to 0.5 u by b ratio, how much it is? How much? Once again, we will get back, going to back. This one here. Q by B ratio 0.404, V by L ratio 0.8342, 0.4 and 0.8342. Okay, remember it is. Point 4 and 0.8342. Okay, 0.4, k equal to 0.5 here. See, k equal to 0.5, 0.404. So means U by B ratio here in this line. In this line, V by L ratio 0.808 means here, somewhere here. So this one, it is between 9 and 10. It is between 9 and 10. So these values are there in multiplied with the 100. But what we needed M1 and M2. These values are multiplied with the 100. So whatever the value we are going to consider it, this needs to be divided it by 100. Correct? So how much it is? 0.4 and 0.8. It is between 9 and 10. We'll move there. How much? Remember, 0.9 and between 9 and 10 it is. Between 9 and 10. M1 between 9 and 10 means in between 9 and 10. So they have taken 0.84. 8.4 they have taken. So 8.4 divided by 100 you will do, and you will get 0.084. Similarly, 0.4 and 0.8, 0.4 and 0.8, it is between 1.5 and 2, between 1.5 and 2. It should be between 1.5 and 2. Here here they have taken 1, near to 1. Okay, now we need to correct it. This value, remember it, we need to correct it. Similarly, for k equal to 0.6, it is k equal to 0.6, 404, and here, somewhere here, so it is between 9 and 10 or 8 or 9. And 10, so 9.5 here is taken, so 9.5 divided by 100, it is 0.095 m2, so it will be 408.8, it is 3, somewhere on the line of 3 or 4 or 2 or 3, so they have taken directly 3. So 3 divided by 100 is 0.03. So we need to interpolate these values, M1 and M1 values for 0.5, M1 values for 0.6. We need to interpolate it, and we'll get the value for M1 value for 0.5 and M12 value for 0.55. So how much we got? Finally, M1 equal to 0.089, M2 equal to 0.19. Okay, so M1 and M2 value we got. And now we need to find out the moments. So MB equal to the load. What is the live load which is going to act? The total load of the tracked vehicle is 350 kilonewton from the wheel of that. So the slab is continuous, so that we need to consider 80% of that load. So it is 0.8 into 350 into M1 is 0.089 plus alpha is mu is Poisson's ratio 0.2 into M2 is 0.19. So how much we got? Short span moment 25.984. Similarly, long span moment M2 plus mu into M1, that is 10. So but as this is your short span moment due to this, okay, but as per IRC 6 class number 208.3, for tracked vehicles impact factor is 10% for spans up to 40 meter. So we'll also check this one, IRC 6. We'll go to IRC 6 here. IRC 6, what is the class? IRC 6 class 208.3, IRC 6 class 208.3. Yes, value of impact percentage shall be taken as for IRC class A tracked vehicle. Now we are considering in this member bridge design for the class A or class B loading, the impact percent shall be determined from the curves indicated in figure 5. Impact factor shall be determined from the following equation: span between 3 to 45. See here, for spans up to of 9 meter or more for tracked vehicle, 10% up to span 40 meter, and in accordance with the curve for spans excess in 40 meter. For spans up to 40 meter, impact factor should be considered 10%. So with this class, we need to increase our moments here. So 25.984 into 1.1, 10%, it is 1.1. Multiply, you will get say 28.58 as a short span moment and long span moment as 11.334. This is for IRC Class A tracked vehicle. Similarly, IRC Class A wheeled vehicle. Okay, we should see. We'll continue this wheeled vehicle in the next video. Okay, I think so far it is clear. Tracked vehicle. So what we studied here, we have studied so far how to calculate the dead load bending moment with the Pigot's curve. Okay, V by L ratio, U by B ratio, how to get U, how to get V, okay, how to calculate K1, K, M2 and all those things, and tracked vehicle. So in the next class we'll continue with this.